We have the harbour in the background and flags of all the different nationalities flying all around us. Just a really positive day and a really good memory.
Our curriculum is sufficiently flexible that particularly by 11th and 12th grade years, students can spend a lot of time pursuing a special interest. So we had a boy from Japan this year who really became a passionate student of ceramics.
But there are quite a few that come to mind. I think for me, thinking about most recently or a most recent really positive memory would be a group of advisees of mine who just graduated. Here at Tabor, each faculty member is assigned a group of students with whom they act as their advisor year to year, and that may go on across a student's entire Tabor career, or students do have the autonomy to move between advisors. For me, I was fortunate enough to have 4 of my 5 graduating advisees were with me across the whole 4 years. So as Mr. Downs mentioned in response to an earlier question about what we're really looking for in students and that capacity or potential for growth, it was just a real highlight for me just sitting in the tent as all of the students walked across the stage and received their diplomas, to really think for each of those 5 students, 2 of whom were international and 3 domestic students, really seeing the growth that they'd exhibited across their time here with us. As I'm sure parents and students, you can also imagine joining us as perhaps a 14-year-old and graduating as an 18-year-old, there's really some huge transformations, and here at Tabor we really aim to steward students through that developmental phase of their life, through academics and through everything else. But of course I really got to know all of those students and their families quite well across that time. That was a real highlight. It helped that the weather was beautiful. We have the harbour in the background and flags of all the different nationalities of graduating students flying all around us. So just a really positive day and a lot of fun and a really good memory.
There's a logistical part to college, what we call matriculation, which means getting into the college you want to get into. And there's also an emotional part to it. And the emotional part is a little bit of what I think families go through also in looking at prep schools. What are the top 10 schools? What's going to be the best fit for me? What does this college or university, what does it feel like? What's the culture like? From a logistical standpoint, Tabor and many boarding schools, but I have first-hand experience with Tabor. I'll talk about Tabor's college placement system and office. We have 5 college placement officers. They all are specialists in this area. They visit colleges during the school year and especially during the summer. We use software to track student applications and to coordinate teacher recommendations and standardized test scores. Students have just a week or 2 ago, 11th grade students were assigned their college advisor. That's different than their school advisor, who's been they've had a school advisor since they arrived. And in 11th grade, they acquire a college advisor who will meet with them during junior year. Our fall parents weekend is focused on college placement, and there are events and visiting speakers and kind of an introduction to the college process. In the spring and the summer, the college advisor will work with the students to develop a college application plan that may involve extra preparation for SAT tests or college visits or further research, and to refine a list to make sure that it meets what the student is looking for. And then in the fall, there's a decision to be made about early decision applications, which a great majority of students do now. There is a statistical advantage to applying to a competitive college early decision as opposed to waiting for a regular decision. Nearly all students make their hat on, they'll choose a school if it's early decision. If it's early action, they might choose several schools. There's lots of logistical support that does include parents. College advisor writes a letter to the student and to the parents in the late spring, early summer, summarizing where the student is at in terms of applications and pointing to a direction ahead. Then there's the emotional part. Am I going to like this college? How important are the rankings? Where's my friend applying? And what are they thinking about? What's a good college for me? And our hope is that a student, just as for the students that we're speaking to today who are looking at boarding schools, our hope is that our seniors at the end of the college application process will find a good fit school and hopefully the best fit school. And that might be a top 10 school. It might not be a top 10 school. There are kids who are highly talented who may choose and may have offers from quite famous schools, who might choose schools that we might not have heard of. We might have only heard a little. There certainly is the opportunity to apply to and gain admission to highly competitive and highly ranked schools. This year, our international senior, our 12th grade class, we had 4 students who are going to Ivy League schools, and about half the group is going to top 25 colleges. That's significant. I don't mean to downplay that. But the really significant thing is, are you going to be happy at your college? And equally important, is it going to help you achieve your goals? And the parents are part of that process. The student is part of that process. We faculty are part of that process. Mr. Wellstead was describing the story about the student who was having a tough time and observed that there were actually several faculty who knew the student well enough to pick that up the day that it really needed to be picked up. And the support just may have been, how are you doing? Anything you'd like to talk about? But we hope that at a personal level, students and their parents will feel supported by Tabor at both the logistical and the emotional levels. Physically, we have 2 buildings dedicated to the visual and performing arts. The Fireman Performing Arts Center, which is right down on the ocean. It's a beautiful facility with an auditorium that seats the entire school. Events like the winter musical, the spring dance performance, and other events that attract large audiences or all school audiences are performed there. We also do an all-school meeting in that space once a week. We also have an visual arts center, the Breitmeyer Center, and there is a ceramics wing to that, and our ceramics section, and then a painting and sculpture section. There are several opportunities to connect with the arts at Tabor. One of them is through our curriculum. There are a series of curriculum offerings, some of them electives, meaning that they meet for 1 trimester, and some of them year-long. And there is an arts requirement in the Tabor in terms of graduation, actually, and then expectations for each year. There also are opportunities to choose performing arts and visual arts in the afternoons. That fall, winter, and spring, in addition to our many athletic offerings, we also offer co-curricular options in dance, in music alternative, in the arts alternative, in the winter musical. There are a lot of opportunities for students to pursue or to begin an interest in this area. We have our dance team in the fall and the spring has had considerable success in regional competitions. Part of their program is to develop, practice, and perform pieces, and then send the team to enter in regional New England or state competitions. Ceramics Studio has become quite special, and that's really a part of Tabor's history. Our first student from Japan came in 1890. Our first graduate from Japan graduated in 1952. He passed away about a year ago, and his family maintains a close connection to the school. And one of the ways that he expressed how much his Tabor experience meant to him was to fund the purchase of a kiln for ceramics. It was ordered from a kiln company in the Netherlands. It's the only one of its type in this part of New England. And our ceramics teacher has been here for several decades. If you're from a different part of the world, which you probably are, watching this video, you may be familiar with high schools that we may call vocational schools that provide excellent training in specific areas, such as engineering or medicine or crafts. Other boarding schools you will look at, we provide what's sometimes called in the United States a liberal arts education. We don't have students majoring in ceramics or majoring in medicine or science at this level, but our curriculum is sufficiently flexible that particularly by 11th and 12th grade years, students can spend a lot of time pursuing a special interest. We have students, we had a boy from Japan this year who falls in this category, who really became a passionate student of ceramics. He spent time over his summer vacations visiting historical and highly regarded traditional and historical ceramic centers in China and also in Japan. And ceramics is very likely to continue to be a part of his life. Along with ceramics, in the other visual arts, painting, and in performances, we're fortunate to have faculty who are passionate about what they teach and what they hope students will be able to achieve and accomplish, that they'll share their love for those areas and that can become a special part of their experience.
As a science teacher, primarily, I would say it's not an area actually that I came to Tabor with a huge understanding of any particular component of the performing or the visual arts. What I will say is my experience as a faculty member has just been amazing. The facilities that we have here that we're fortunate enough to have, but also the engagement that students have with those different arts programs is really quite impressive to me. What comes to mind is teaching a chemistry class, and we had a session that was a project-based learning activity, and I had a student who presented to the class about the chemistry of the glazing process in ceramics and temperatures of kilns and the chemistry of what's going on in there. That was a really neat opportunity for me to learn a bit more from the students actually about the program that we have here and the kiln that we have. As Mr. Downs mentioned, we're really fortunate to have our ceramics teachers, Mr. Arnfield, actually at his home, which is very local, about 10 miles away, has a wood-fired kiln, which students, it's a bit of a tradition here actually, we'll go to once or twice a year, and there's, I don't know what you call it, a firing party, I suppose, and everybody actually uses his wood-fired kiln to create their different products. That's very cool to hear about, and yeah, very, very impressive, I think. I think for me, that's really my first-hand experience of what we offer here, as well as attending all the musicals and the public speaking things that go on. But overall, just a really wide range of, as Mr. Downs mentioned, liberal arts opportunities, of which the arts are a very large component.